Hey, Ostrog Metals here. Today I'll be showing how to solder a salvaged 12 volt LED light. Now these are actually backlights salvaged from widescreen TVs. They're actually 12 volt, some of them are higher, some of them are lower, 5 volt ones. 24 and 12 volt, this is 12 volt one. Now these connectors, these molexes, have 3 pins including a signal pin. But if you solder to these two contacts, as I tested with my multimeter earlier time, these LEDs do light up with 12 volts. So I'll show that once I've soldered this small gauge wire onto it. Because it doesn't take many milliamps to power, but it does take 12 volts. So free LED lighting. I actually have a load of these powering a sort of miniature fan in my kitchen. Touch my soldering iron. Oops. Also need a sponge for that. Where's my water thing? There we go. Best to use a bit of wet tissue for a sponge rather than a solder sponge, as they can be quite expensive, which is really stupid. It's just that, really. Some flux, soldering paste, flux, whatever you want to call it, rosin. This stuff practically lasts forever. I've had this tin was full with 30 grams for practically ever, and I soldered quite a bit, so just waiting for the soldering iron to heat up now. Just doing some projects to pass the time over the weekend. It's quite smoky, that stuff. But there is a blob of tin on there. I actually made this solder myself. It's my solder, alloy of tin and quite a bit of silver in here also, so it's very high quality solder. Just getting a blob there, going. Solder this, got to be very careful because I keep burning myself while I've been soldering lately. It does happen. Nice big join on that one. Very nice, in fact. Bend that black wire around a bit, or the negative wire. This is DC, not AC. Bit tricky, this. I do not have a pair of helping hands with me, which are like a pair of grippy things. Tricky to hold this tiny wire in place. I'm going to have to clean my iron anyways. Tin that a bit, add some weight to it. That's just a little blob of solder on the end. Hold that in place with the tin. There's not much flux on there at the moment. Oof. There's a child screaming in the gully outside. That's distracting. Need more soldering paste. So come off. Burns off it then. Use my pliers actually. Ooh, that chunk of tin is hot indeed. Stick to the pad. Oh, it's done. It's not very bright in here as it could be. So I'll put that weight on there. Should clean the iron first actually. Nice clean tip. Important to keep your soldering iron clean, otherwise it won't work. Or it'll die very, very quickly. Just getting the rosin off this with a little half wash of this bit of tissue. It's a bit stuck on there. Looks nasty. Fix that off. Back on there. Oh no. It's a soldering burn. Not getting rid of that. Fair enough. I'm going to have to take this into the kitchen in order to test it on my solar array so I can use some solar power. Anyway, that's where it's soldered. On focus foam. We'll also need to hot glue this in place as the weld is actually not waterproof and I need it to be. So, to the kitchen. So here's my solar array. All solar powered lights. Need to my phone off there. As you can see, 12 volts. Lots of cress and stuff growing by there. So all I have to do is attach these two wires to the positive and negative and see if we got action, which we should have. Ah, there we go. Look how bright they are. As you can see, they work very, very well. Not even a small voltage drop there on the battery, by the way I'm using a leisure battery. So that was how to solder a 12 volt salvage light. They look very good attached to shelves and they grow food really well, as you can see. So definitely worth salvaging some backlights out of widescreen TVs, as these obviously have multiple uses and each LED strip probably sets you back £5 to £7 maybe, including shipping online. So you'll save quite a bit of money. Well, till next time.